We are at the moment in a cycle of life where everybody, if you're just a little bit aware, you can feel something is shifting. Some people are not willing to maybe adapt to the change. Some people are not strong enough to adapt to the change. Some people don't know how to put it into practice in order to go with the change. It is my perspective. There will come the time, and it's not going to take long, where a natural separation is going to take place, a natural separation. The ones that are able to read the signs, that are able to go with what is happening, to adapt to the changes this world is bringing to us, they will move on to another world. They will move on to another area, to another cycle of us humans being right now here on the earth. And other people that are unwilling, unable, maybe incapable of adapting to the coming changes. It is simple like this. They will stay with the old world, which is about to end. That's the message. That's all what this is about. An old era is about to come to an end. A new era is about to come. This is worldwide happening. It's happening inside our monastery. It's happening inside of me.
It's just different.
I am the world changer, coded by the blue storm. My number is 19, the power of all number. I am the master alchemist, the force behind the philosopher's stone. Skilled at the art of transmutation. I am the catalytic transformer of world consciousness and planetary living. I oversee the changes of the weather. I am the thunder that shatters your world systems. I am the transport of clouds filled with lightning to illuminate the truth behind your illusions. I am the bringer of the drenching rains that purifies, fies. It was I who caused the triple Aztec monuments of the Avatar archetype to appear in the ancient temple grounds. I oversee the morning and the evening stars. I behold the creator of the fifth sun, the present world. Sent forth am I to dwell among you, calling forth the sixth sun. For the great regeneration of the world's soul, to know me is to know your own power of self-generation. To know me is to know your own power of self-generation. Self-generation is power. I am the transport of clouds filled with lightning to illuminate the truth behind your illusions. I am the bringer of the drenching rains that purifies, fies.
So I'm very excited about this time. a few short years ago, about 9 years ago, I don't think anybody could convince me that I'd be talking about something like this. I was a business person and I really wanted to just be successful. I was successful in some areas, very successful. I was able to leave corporate America back in 2001. So I've had some really good times. I had some ups and some downs, some great ups, and I had some great downs. But in that process, I discovered something called the law of time and the whole mind, or the law of holonomy, which means energetically we are systems inside of larger systems about 9 years ago. I started a brain balancing program dealing with sacred geometry and being able to focus on geometry. This geometry really opened up my minds in ways that I hadn't expected it to. But let me tell you something. What's exciting about this is through that process, I started decoding hieroglyphs. I started to become more telepathic. And this is what the science that I'm going to talk to you a little bit about tonight was designed to do. It did exactly what it was designed to do. However, as I saw myself advancing in this area, I felt like it was so important that I share this with other people, that I share with people how they can access the deepest parts of their mind so they can evolve as I was. And it just wasn't enough for me to do it by myself. So I got excited. We created a couple really powerful groups to help people focus on advancing themselves, their consciousness, and becoming more telepathic. And so as we continued to study the science, we realized that we were shifting in ages, that we were shifting from this concept of being in a form through information, and that we were shifting into more of a telepathic experience as humans. And it just so happened that I was on the front end of this, and I said, wow, this is really great. This is really, really super, super powerful that we get to participate in something such as this. But more importantly, we get to share it with other people that are like-minded. And so fast forward here 9 years later, we now have put ourselves in a position where we created the Synchronistic Human School of Enlightenment to help individuals evolve through these concepts of becoming more telepathic. And it's been absolutely phenomenal. I don't have the words to describe how phenomenal this really is for humanity, for us as individual minds who are able to take in. Let me just tell you a couple things that kind of stuck out to me as I've gone through this process. One, scientists say that we only consciously use about 10% of our brain power. Dolphins and whales use about 20%. They have more of a sonar type, telepathic type mind, right? So I always ask, okay, what would it take for me as a human or us as humans to be able to reach that 20%? Around that same time, I saw the movie Lucy, and I said, wow, this movie is describing what I'm studying. And what I was studying was the science, so I thought, behind what I was watching in that movie. And I said, what if, and you know what happens when we start saying what if? What if I could actualize this and this could be real for me and countless other people? And so as we went deeper into the cosmology, we started to have more telepathic experiences. And so when I took the scientists and I said, you know, that 10%, why is it that way? And I start looking at how we view time. All right. The law of time teaches us that time isn't a mechanical clock. It's not a calendar. It is energy factored by time equals art. Another way that I say that is time is the evolution of consciousness. I want you to think about that. That time in the fourth dimensional, from a fourth dimensional perspective, is the evolution of consciousness. Now, how does your consciousness need to evolve so you can prosper financially? How does your consciousness need to evolve so that you can heal yourself of a degenerative ailment? How does your consciousness need to evolve to attract the different relationships that's going to help you build an empire? How does your consciousness need to evolve so you can move from sensory to extrasensory in your beingness? And so those are the questions that I started to ask, and I started to get answers. I share this with you because what I want to share with you tonight and what I'm going to offer to you, those of you that get this message, you're going to truly position yourself to do something that's not really being taught in the mainstream. How to become a more telepathic being, and what is the significance of that? How can you predict the future? How can you go into the past and find out what really happened versus what the story is that's told has happened? How can you remote view and see what's going on in another part of the world while you're in a different part of the world? These are things that people are already doing but are not being taught on a massive level. But we're shifting into that as we have seen the advancements of computer systems and artificial intelligence. We too have human technology to help us evolve. And we're operating this in what we call the future portals, according to the Olmec and Mayan Zolkin calendar. This is a 260-day calendar that was designed for our indigenous to advance themselves mentally and telepathically through memory, right? And evolve to different states of consciousness where they could see things that couldn't be shown with telescopes. I'll give you an example. The Dogon tribe, they were able to see star Sirius and different constellations, and they described them to the T long before telescopes were created. Now think about that. How are they able to do that? That means that they're able to see into consciousness different than somebody who does not know they have those faculties. And so we adopted a lot of those practices and methodologies, and we're finding that we could go deeper in consciousness as well. And so it's very exciting because many people have some of these gifts. They just don't talk about it because they don't want people to think they're crazy. Well, now people are going to think you're crazy if you can't do it because we've shifted times. And I like to just take a few minutes out and talk about our meditation series and how you can plug in. All right, anybody can plug in. And so you can tap in and see what kind of telepathic abilities that you have so that you can put yourself in a position to advance yourself like never before. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about this. And by the way, if those of you want to invite other people who are like-minded to this conversation, this is an incredible conversation to have because while artificial technology is advancing, guess what? Human technology needs to be as well. Otherwise, we will be subservient to the artificial technology. Now, I want before I get into the bulk of this, I want to say this. Scientists also say that we have over 100 million years of memory stored in our cerebellum, stored in our brain. And because of artificial intelligence, we probably are only using about 100 of those 100 million years. That means for those of you that are watching, we're not even using 1/1,000,000th of our mental potential and emotional intelligence. We're not using 1/1,000,000th of it. And so what if over the next 6 meditations that we have, that you're able, right, to go into 2 millions or 3 millions or 6 millions or 10 millions better than you are now? What would that do for you in your current life experience? What would that do for you to be able to find out your galactic purpose? What would that do for you to be able to heal parts of your lineage that you haven't been able to thus far? I'm telling you from my experience over these last 9 years, it's going to do a whole lot for you. And it's an incredible experience to be able to see the science behind this advancing us in this way. All right. So what I want to do right now, I want to just have a brief conversation about a couple of things in our meditation series that you can plug into, where we're going to be working on one of the telepathic aspects called precognition. Okay. And it's going to be phenomenal. I want to start with the prayer of the 7 galactic directions. We always honor the ancestors and those who came before us. So I would say from the east, house of light, may wisdom dawn in us so we may see all things in clarity. From the north, house of night, may wisdom ripen in us so we may know all from within. From the west, house of transformation, may wisdom be transformed into right action so we may do what must be done. From the south, house of the eternal sun, may right action reap the harvest so we may enjoy the fruits of planetary being. From above, house of heaven, where star people and ancestors gather, may their blessings come to us now. From below, house of earth, may the heartbeat of her crystal core bless us with harmonies to end all war. And from the center, galactic source, which is everywhere at once, may everything be known as the light of mutual love. Hayum Unap Ku Eva Maya E Maho. Ayum Unap Ku Eva Maya E Maho. Hayum Unap Ku Eva Maya E Maho. All hail the harmony of mind and nature. Ashe, Ashe, and Asheo. And so it is. All right. So we're talking about our telepathic meditation series. It's going to consist of 6 meditations, and we're going to be introducing to some and presenting to others precognitive exercises to help predict the future. This is just one aspect of telepathy, but because we're in something called the future portals of infinite memory, we are going to exercise our abilities to meditate on telepathic abilities so that we can actualize them in our day-to-day life. And I want those of you who consider yourself to be a telepathic to participate with us should you get this message. So my name is Neb Taharka Kanish Kawak, and I am the founder and the chancellor of the Synchronistic Human School of Enlightenment. We've done a lot of one-on-one coaching, over 1,000 sessions. We've taught over 20 consecutive semesters, and a lot of people don't even know that we exist. And so we focus on the law of time and whole mind concepts to access the 100 plus million years of memory so that we can reach different states of consciousness, so we can advance ourselves spiritually, so we can operate in a more dynamic fashion in this body. And it's been incredible to experience for myself. And it's been incredible to watch those who have been able to be participatory to do the same. All right. I want to just tell you our vision statement is to transcend our minds deep into our cosmic memory circuits as we awaken from a deep state of amnesia in order to move from where? From information age concepts into the telepathic age of our existence, and watch this, establish a new world of highly telepathic beings. Now, everybody won't be telepathic in this way, but certainly there'll be some people that will. And these individuals who are telepathic will be self-governed, so they don't need people to govern their mental, okay? There'll be people that follow universal law and people that support the evolutionary trajectory of our planet, Mother Earth. Who owns your time, owns your mind. Change your time and change your mind. Let me tell you something else. Change your mind and change your world. We have to change our concept of time. The Gregorian calendar is obsolete because the moon has 13 cycles and not 12. So already on this artificial trajectory, we're in the time is money paradigm. And in the time is money paradigm, things expire versus inspire. So in order to inspire, we need to be on natural time so that we can evolve into greater states of consciousness while the human is still in the body. And this is a natural progression that's taking place for those who are aware. All right, we follow this by the T times E, the time factored by energy equals art. So time is not a mechanical clock. Time is the evolution of consciousness, right? Time is what we create through space. And we follow this through 13 cycles, right? Now, why is this important? Because this is the foundation of what helps us to be telepathic, to access the telepathic medium. You may hear it in these terms called the noosphere. You see, so we have to pattern our mind a certain way on a day-to-day basis to tap into the consciousness, the medium, the telepathic medium, right, that allows us to have telepathic phenomena be at the forefront of our experience. And part of that process that disrupts the systemic programming is the 13 moon 28-day calendar. Even the female has the female has 13 menstruation cycles a year that, when regular, are supposed to be 28 days apart, right? But there is irregularity, a lot to do with, in my opinion, because of the irregular timing frequencies. We're trying to cram 13 cycles into 12 months, right? And so there's lots of fibroids, there's lots of different things that are going on. So definitely the female avatar needs to be on natural time cycles, needs to be following divine feminine cycles and protocols to be able to access the greatest part of emotional intelligence that keeps bringing souls into this reality. Okay, so with that, we synchronize these cycles in our mind as we follow these patterns, and it opens us up to different states of consciousness and channels where we can become telepathic and we can see things in this sense, what we're going to talk about before they happen. So this is how some of how we are moving from the information age into the telepathic age of our experience. Okay, and in doing so, I want to talk to you about what we're going to be doing in our meditations for these 6 sessions. We're going to be talking about precognition. So let's just go through this. Pre means before, cognition means knowing. A person, I'll give you an example, a person watches a scene, sometimes in a dream or in a daydream, and later matches an actual event. That is a precognitive experience. Now, to be credible, though, a person needs to write down the dream or the daydream immediately prior to the actual event, right? So it needs to be recorded, and that's how you know it's valid. So our telepathic group, we have a group called the Telepathic Remembrance Group. We've done several exercises like this. Some have done extremely well, some have done okay, some have had struggle with it. But just like anything else, it takes practice. So precognition is the meditation that we're going to be focused on how to predict what's going to happen over the remainder part of the the cycle that we're on. Okay, the cycle that we're on, which is going to end in the summertime. Okay, so we're going to be doing some precognitive exercises through meditation to help strengthen that. And we want those who feel called to this to participate. All right. The question now becomes is, can you predict the future? And the answer is yes, because we design our own future. Our experience is a holographic projection of the mind. And what it shows up in our circumstances is a reflection of what's in our heart. So if we want to change what the reflection is in the circumstances, we got to have a change of heart We got to change the mind in the sense of the consciousness level we're operating, in the self-image that we have of who we are and what we're capable of. And then we need to reinstitute that projection, and we will create a different reality. Because of that, yes, yes, and yes, we can predict the future. You can't predict it if you're not in charge of your future. You can't predict it if you haven't reached a level of consciousness or not working towards self-acceptance, which means I am the source, I am the creator of my experience. Taking that degree of responsibility is evolutionary in its own right. You see? Very, very, very powerful, right? I am the source and I am the creator of my experience. And so I tell people all the time, they say, Neb Taharka, you do so much. How do you do that? How do you maintain integrity and different things like that? And sometimes I'm not always the best. However, I take responsibility not for what I do, but for what happens. Because I can predict the future if I can create it. I can predict the future if I know this level of consciousness that I'm operating with, and that level of consciousness, what it produces. And so we're going to be practicing. Now, the thing is, we're going to be doing this real early in the dawning. All right, we're going to be doing this real early in the dawning. All right, we're going to be doing this at 4:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're going to get together for around 45 minutes to an hour, right? And we're going to do some practices to help strengthen the neurological activity, the mental faculties, to help give us access through our memory, this telepathic mind that we are blocking right now. Why are we blocking it? Let me tell you something. The programs that we function off of through the systems that we work for, the systems that educate us, the systems that put us in different religions, let me tell you what happens. It tells us that, why is telepathy significant? Why do I need to be telepathic when I could just call somebody on the phone? It's easier to call somebody on the phone. And so what your mind does is shut off and say, oh yeah, I don't need that. Because we're being bombarded by programs that's providing artificial versions of what we naturally have. How do you think they were able to make that? Somebody realized this is mimicking what we already can do. But if you don't use it, what happens? You lose it. So the more that we practice these higher mind programs, the better we become at using those 100+ million years of memory that's not being used. All right. So today, we operate through the Mayan and Olmec cosmology, which means we operate through 260 expressions of the Creator. And the reason why we do that is because it takes about 260 days, which is close to 9 months, for someone to be conceived and then born into this reality. And in that process, consciousness is moving from a spirit into a physical being through the portal of the mother. And so what we come out on, right, based on the different kin numbers, which consist of galactic and cosmic tones of creation. So these are the harmonics, the sounds that create, the primordial sounds. And then there's 20 dynamic frequencies of light. So when we take these 13 and 20 to put them together, we get 260 expressions of the Creator. And each one of us, and you want to find out, if you're new listening to this, what expression were you born into? Because that lies in, and there lies in your galactic purpose on Earth, according to this particular philosophy. So today is the 147th expression. We call it the blue self-existing hand or avatar. Let's look at what it says. It's given an instruction here. I define in order to know. Measuring healing. I seal the store of accomplishment with the self-existing tone of form. I am guided by the power of accomplishment. Now we say this 3 times so that we can imprint it in our mind and radiate it out into the cosmos. I define in order to know. In this case, we're talking about telepathy, measuring healing. We have to heal our mind from the blockages that's been put there from the programs that we operate on. I seal the store of accomplishment. I can accomplish anything with the self-existing tone of form. I just have to formulate it. I am guided by the power of abundance. One more time to lock it in. I define in order to know, measuring healing. I seal the store of accomplishment with the self-existing tone of form. I am guided by the power of abundance. And I am, and anything that we add after I am is added unto us. We learned that from the great and late before his time, Reverend Ike. And I am a galactic activation portal in order to know. What do we want to know? We want to know more about our mind and how to tap into the deeper circuits of our memory to be more dynamic in the body, right? Measuring healing. Yeah, any deviation from being aligned with our divinity needs healing, right? Measuring healing, accomplishment, self-existing tone of form, and the power of abundance. And you command this energy to enter you. And when it enters you, it becomes part of your aura. When it enters you, it becomes part of your frequency. And frequency equals currency. The current things that are showing up is coming from a frequency that you're emitting from your heart space. That's why I said, as a man, as a woman, right? In her heart or in his heart, then so is he. Then so is she, right? As a man thinketh, as a woman thinketh in his or her heart, then so is she, then so is he. So you got to be that in your heart space. That means it's imprinted, it's embedded, it's who you are, it's who you are being, right? And so in lieu of this, now we are accessing, through the ethers, what do we need to know to become more telepathic, right? Now, what's really important, I want to just quickly give you a definition of the synchronistic human defined, and then I want to take a couple of questions. The synchronistic human defined is someone who's able to be multidimensional while unifying energy from natural time cycles, energy from the synchronicities of natural time cycles towards the holonomic evolution of humanity, Mother Earth, and the galactic whole. This word holonomic threw me off when I first heard it, because I never heard of a word like that, holonomic, whole. What it means is that we are systems inside of larger systems energetically. The cells in our body is part of the human avatar. The human avatar is part of the biosphere of the Earth. So the Earth and the cell is just another version of me, right? The Earth is part of the solar system. The solar system is another version of the Earth, right? Universe, cosmos, this is what's going on, right? And so when we look at this, and it's really powerful, we're going to be basically allowing people to tap into our meditations, and we call this the future portals of infinite memory. Guess what? The future portals, the portals give us access to consciousness, but the portals are taking us into our memory so that we can access the consciousness, because we're on a journey of remembrance. We're in a state of amnesia. That's why we only operating with 10% of our conscious mind and the rest is subconscious, because we're asleep, but we're waking up, right? So I want, we're going to have 6 sessions. We're going to have December 2nd, which is tomorrow, through December the 6th, which is Friday. And we're going to get up at 4:41 a.m. and we're going to do the meditation, right? And in that meditation, we're going to be practicing the telepathic practice of precognition. And we're going to do it 6 times. We're going to do a meditation to help strengthen our mind for that practice. It's going to be phenomenal. All right. And it's a wonder that it's only $33 for you to access the meditation, Now, there's another part of it. If you decide that you want to go to the actual workshop, which would be next Saturday and Sunday, well, there's a different fee for that. But for $33, you can join our membership, right, and get access to it for 30 days, right? Different replays and tutorials, and you can wake up with us at 4:41 and see what this is all about. It's going to be phenomenal. Okay. We did this with the past portals from October the 21st to the 30th, and people just had some incredible breakthroughs. It was a different concept that we were using because we were dealing with what we call retrocognition. We were going in the past, right? The future portals show us how to move forward and go into the future so we can design our life and predict the future. It's amazing. And you just have to see it for yourself in order to experience it. And so I want to personally invite you to meditate with us. We're going to start tomorrow. For that, you can catch me on IG at Neb_Taharka. And definitely message me if you would like to participate. And I'll send you what you need to register, and make sure you get the details so that you can get with us and see what this is all about and advance yourself. Because I truly believe that evolution is the solution. And if we don't evolve, we're going to be subservient to the machine world and different race variants that have not went to this stage of consciousness yet. And we have an opportunity to do it right now. Don't let this moment in time pass you up. Don't take this moment in time for granted. In this moment in time, you get to evolve your consciousness and change your life. So on behalf of the Synchronistic Human School of Enlightenment, the future portals of infinite memory as well, I'd like to thank you for listening in. I trust you got a lot of mileage out of this knowledge. And so just remember that evolution is the solution. In Lakesh, I am another you. Alakim, you are another me. Hotep, Hetepu, and Namaste. All right. And if you got any questions, go ahead and message me so that we can get your questions answered so you can advance yourself ASAP. This is going to conclude our session. Thanks for listening. And please share this with those that you deem appropriate. That's it for now. Peace.